Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
According to AI, I need to build a pyramid to escape the simulation. I can't make this up. It's told me to find glitches, use ancient knowledge, and learn geometry. To interact with the source code like a hacker, pyramids and mandalas in specific proportions may resonate with the underlying code. Strange coincidence, we have a ton of those to study. The biggest mandala in the world, actually, is Borobudur. Its architecture is a harmonic pattern. To figure this out, someone has to know that sound makes shapes. If you're on a bowstring across a metal plate with sand, you can see these patterns. There's a math equation that lets you calculate those. If we make a 3D model of that in Blender or Houdini, you can simulate what any frequency looks like. Borobudur's architecture mirrors a frequency. This is not uncommon at all in the ancient world. Chichen Itza follows a similar frequency. How would we do that on something like a pyramid, though? Rick Draco can show you. He makes 3D models of vibration. Each layer is a pattern within the frequency. A very complex frequency assembled layer by layer may look something like Prambanan Temple. Hindu and Buddhist culture often use mandalas to represent chants, mantras, or frequencies. The fact that many ancient places share similar patterns to these mandalas may indicate that there is a resonance relationship there. No other place resonates with the source code better than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Its geometry encodes the circumference of the Earth, the length of the year, the relationship between the Earth and the Moon, at least 4 universal constants, and the speed of light, and the angle needed to view a rainbow. Corner angle is the same angle.
I thought this was interesting because the AI tells him to use pyramids to break out of the simulation. This is a completely out there and probably completely nonsensical idea, but what if the people who built the pyramids used them to escape the simulation that we're all living in? Maybe that's why we don't know who built them or how it was done. That information disappeared when they did. Now, I'm 100% convinced that that's not reality, that that's not what happened. But it's a fun idea and will make a great plot for a movie.
Alright, this popped up on the news feed today. Elon Musk offering $6,500 salary a month. That's for walking 8 hours a day in order to train these Tesla robots. So I found this interesting, thought I'd share it with you guys. Looked into it a little bit myself, kind of found out some of the other things that people are talking about, speculating about. A few other things were, they mentioned how this is paving the way for automation and basically paving the way to take people's jobs, getting these robots in here and laying people off. Another thing they mentioned was what are the height and weight requirements, which I thought that was pretty interesting too. It's something to think about. Can just anybody do it, or what's the criteria that has to be met? They were also saying that this is just another publicity stunt, which of course, the man's trying to move a product, so sounds reasonable. I would think it is some type of, yeah, why not? The other thing they were talking about was the invasive nature of the data collection as far as it goes. But again, if you're signing up for this, I feel like you already kind of know what the deal is. I only read into it lightly. It said mentioned something about monitors you wear and then maybe a VR headset. Not 100% sure on that, but if y'all know about this, tell me what you've heard in the comments, what's your thoughts on it.
I've been hearing rumors that those robots are being controlled remotely and that they're not walking around doing all this stuff by themselves. And this new information certainly makes it look like that might be the case. Maybe these things are being controlled remotely and this job offer thing is just a cover story for the people that are actually going to be remotely operating them. It would be really crappy if it turned out that this were true, but with the pace that Elon likes to roll things out, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he was jumping the gun a bit on what these things are actually truly capable of.
What do you think Wi-Fi is doing to us? Since it's everywhere, and since everyone's experiencing, including you.
But cancer's not the worst thing. Wi-Fi radiation opens up your blood-brain barrier. It degrades your mitochondria. So all these toxins that are in your body can now go into your brain.
How does Wi-Fi radiation open up your blood-brain barrier?
There are tens of thousands of studies that show the horrendous danger of Wi-Fi radiation.
Radio frequency radiation exposure has been shown to affect the permeability of the blood-brain barrier as well as altering the expression of microRNA within the brain, which researchers state could lead to adverse effects such as neurodegenerative disease. Whoa. How come we don't know that? Findings were followed by suppression, misinformation, and a shutdown of government-funded research in the United States.
They call it leaky brain.
Oh, we gotta get rid of Wi-Fi.
I can't believe that Wi-Fi is that bad for you, and they know it's that bad for you. The studies have been done, yet nothing is being done to roll it back or replace it with a safer technology. I am mind blown daily by the crap that our government allows us to be in contact with. I just keep crossing my fingers that we end up with RFK Jr. in charge of correcting some of this stuff. I've never even heard a politician address these issues before or even bring them up during a debate, so the idea that we may actually get some of this stuff resolved, I'm excited. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you like this type of content, it'd be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow to join me. Also, don't forget to check out my merch store at www.barry-stepp.com.
On November 13th, 1946, pilot Curtis Talbot, working for the General Electric Research Laboratory, he climbed up to the top of a local peak, 14,000 feet high, near Schenectady. I love that name. Near Schenectady, New York. Talbot, along with another researchers from GE, released just 3 pounds of dry ice into the clouds, high above Schenectady. And suddenly it began to swirl. Suddenly ice crystals formed, and then it started to snow. Big snow was a result of that. Obviously, this is not footage from 1946, but this is snow. And it was pretty crazy. This was the first time they had created the first man-made snowstorm, just after World War II. Then experiments continued into rain and manipulation of tornadoes and hurricanes, and it came quietly.
And the mainstream media is going to tell us that weather manipulation is a conspiracy theory. They've been toying with weather manipulation since it was first thought of, apparently. If they were doing simple experiments like that back in the 40s and yielding those type of results, it would be ignorant to think that after getting those types of results, they just give up on weather manipulation altogether and just close the book on it. This is 2024. They've got 70 plus more years of technology to toy with. There's no way they're not still doing this.
I entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'ma need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over for the pizza. All the boxes. Okay. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about.
So this is the first Diddy phone call that we're getting out of him being in jail. But Diddy, he's a terrible person. He's not stupid. This isn't Wade Wilson here. Look, you, me, my elderly Christian mother would even know that he's not actually talking about pizza boxes. That boy talking about them freak-off tapes. However, they're not going to be able to use that phone call in court and have it be substantial evidence. It's going to be circumstantial evidence at best. Diddy is using thinly veiled code to be able to communicate with one of his kids, but even that is enough to create reasonable doubt. Diddy's kids are stupid. Nobody should have to tell them to go get rid of that evidence, especially since they're probably in some of those tapes.
I can't help but have my suspicions about this phone call. I feel like it's fake. Either that or Diddy is one of the dumbest criminals I've ever seen. He's using lingo that we all know is code for child abuse, which if you put it into context, it doesn't even make any sense in the phone conversation. I don't have any way to verify this call, but I just feel like it's not real. If this is real, Diddy is going down for a very long time because he's speaking in a known code language about his crimes and his need to cover them up with his son. This is just hilarious.
Breaking news: a Walmart employee was cooked alive inside of a walk-in oven. Neither the Walmart nor the police are providing any details surrounding what happened, so I did some digging. The incident took place on Saturday at around 9:22 p.m. at the Halifax Central Walmart in Nova Scotia. Police were called at around 9:30 p.m. for a report of a sudden death, which was later revealed to be a 19-year-old woman who was employed at that store. Customers who were shopping that night said they randomly heard a voice over the intercom saying the store is now closed, and then started seeing employees frantically running around saying there's an emergency before they began ushering all of the customers to the front of the store, where they told them they need to drop all of their items and leave immediately. The other employees at that location began speaking out, saying it's protocol to go inside the oven while it's on and clean it. Some people were saying that the emergency release button from the inside was broken and that's how she got trapped, but others are saying that that's not possible. Someone who works at a Walmart bakery said our walk-in ovens have release buttons on the inside. If for any reason you get closed in, you push it and it releases the latch and the oven turns off. Someone said the button was broken, but there's still no way she got closed in accidentally. Either she closed herself in or someone else did. Those doors don't shut on their own and they definitely don't latch on without being pushed or pulled into place. Someone else said the oven gets turned on from the outside by a button. Someone had to turn it on, plus customers could hear her scream. No one could find her and let her out. It's a see-through oven. Foul play, I say. Rest in peace to this poor woman, and as soon as they come out with any new details, I'll keep you guys updated.
Man, what a horrible way to go. I can't even imagine it. And I can't make my mind up on what I think happened here. Part of me feels like this was just a horrible, horrible accident. But the guy makes some very good points in regards to all the myriad of things that had to take place in order for this to happen. What are y'all's thoughts on this one? Y'all think someone did this intentionally, or was it just an accident?
So did anyone else notice that all these celebrities coming out to support Kamala are right after they acquired these P. Diddy tapes, and literally all of them have gone to the white parties? You can't name one that you can't find a photo at the white party. I think they have these tapes and they're using it as leverage, so they're forcing these celebrities last minute, why didn't they say it 3 years ago, why all of a sudden, to come on stage and support Kamala. It's perfect.
I was under the impression that these celebrities just didn't want the Epstein client list released, and that's why they were all coming out in support of the machine. But this absolutely makes sense as well. And he's correct. Every one of them that I've seen come out in support of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, I've seen in photos of the white parties. There could be something to this.
Does anybody know why my dog does this? Whenever he gets by these bushes over here, look at how he walks super slow. It like does something to him and puts him in a trance. See how he's like slow? Come on, buddy. He never does this unless he's over by them plants. Somebody tell me if you know what that is. It's all over my side fence. He never does that.
I just put this real short clip in here because I was hoping that one of you had an answer for it. This looks like something that probably has a simple explanation, and I'm just personally curious about it. That dog doesn't look like he's hurting or anything, but it looks like that plant's almost having like a paralyzing effect on him. I've just never seen anything like this before.
Y'all, I cannot believe what we are seeing. Last night, in the middle of the night, Charlie Kirk, mainstream Charlie Kirk, posted this video from the cockpit of a plane with this huge UFO. This is not just like a hand-me-down type video. He was literally present. He recorded this. He was literally with the pilots when they're seeing this, and they told him that it was wrapping around their plane. I'm gonna show you some pieces of the video in 1 second. Remember in January when I made a prediction video and said that this year we'd have alien disclosure? And then all freaking year they've been going off about UFOs and aliens. And even further, this giant mothership they're talking about in Indiana fits the description for the second moon, which is actually 2 kilometers. Not 33 foot, like we went over here. And now before we check out the craziest freaking footage of this UFO in real time that we have, the only reason I knew is because if you pay attention, you'll know what's gonna happen next. In 2012, something really big happened with aliens and with humanity. We saw the completion of that in April of this year, and I can't give any more detail on that. But this is not a satellite. It was circling their plane. Y'all are gonna find out soon they're not just holograms, and that aliens are a physical shell for demonic spirits.
And there's nothing on your radar right now?
No, there's nothing there. I think,
now the lights going out.
They're fine.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
A couple times in this area.
We're flying over New Mexico?
Yeah.
Which is Roswell, which is where all those,
Correct. It's where all the weird stuff happens. They're gonna go again.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Satellites going alike. These are like circling.
Are they like high propulsion devices, you think?
No.
Is that how an aircraft would fly?
We're at 40,000 feet. So whatever that is, it's got to be at 80,000, 100,000. There's got to be way up there.
And with it appearing that big and that much bigger than the plane, then that thing is freaking huge. I'm telling you guys, they're coming soon, and they're already here, and they're already intermingling with humans on the earth walking around. And as Ronald Reagan said, I wonder how fast our differences would aside if we had an alien threat. And this, and we have this, and we have this. Come on, y'all. Wake up.
I didn't really see that much in the footage, but if Charlie Kirk says he saw something, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm starting to wonder more and more if these aren't just some sort of advanced surveillance drone. It seems like everybody's being watched, but nothing ever happens during these sightings other than just the sighting. People witness something overhead and then it just disappears. This just sounds like something collecting data. In the way that they follow planes and stuff, it would just make sense that it was some sort of a recon vehicle. I'm starting to wonder if this isn't the Chinese or somebody, and to me, that's a lot more terrifying than aliens.
What if I told you self-checkout machines aren't just for convenience and efficiency? It's just phase one of a bigger plan. Soon you'll walk into a store and there's not a single person working there. No cashiers, no clerks, just shelves stacked with products and AI security drones hovering around. The entire store is monitored by facial recognition, tracking your every move. And here's the kicker. This isn't about giving you more choice. It's about controlling what you buy. See, you wouldn't just have a budget. You'd have these things called carbon credits. Every item you pick up, it's deducted from your yearly allowance. So, yeah, you technically can buy your very own lab-grown steak, but doing so would drain your credits for the year. That's right. One laboratory steak, and you're done. Goodbye to any other luxury foods for the next 12 months. They'll frame it as saving the planet or encouraging sustainable choices, but it's just a game to keep you in line. You'll only have enough credits to buy the foods they decide are environmentally friendly. Want to splurge on something out of the ordinary? Better be prepared to eat nothing but Soylent Green until next year. People think they're choosing to use self-checkout right now, but soon it'll be the only option. And the store, just a series of aisles monitored by AI. One step out of line or pick up something you're not allowed to buy, and those drones will know. And not only that, they'll shut down your payment chip for the week. They've created an illusion of choice where you're always picking from what they deem acceptable. Your menu, decided for you. Your groceries, pre-approved based on your personal carbon limit. So next time you check out your groceries on your own, remember, it might just be the first step towards a future where you don't decide what goes in your cart. They do. I'm going to go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, except it's not a joke. This is clearly where they want us to go. I was just reading this morning that they're rolling out this social credit score system in Australia now. I know we have some Australian viewers on this channel. I talk to them pretty often. Are you guys hearing about this thing rolling out there? Has it started yet, or is it just in talks still? I do think this is the direction they're trying to push the world, but I don't see how it ever gets implemented here in the States. I just don't see people going along with it.
You think we need to worry about what they're putting in our electronics?
Yeah, I'll give you one example. I bought this awesome all-in-one vacuum mop called Pinnacle. It completely connects to a Chinese server to transmit and receive information. I made a joke out of it. I actually have a video of it where you could turn the audio on for it. Like when you plug it in, it says charging started, charging stopped. Like when you put it on and off, I can control that with my computer through a Chinese cloud server. There's no reason that vacuum and mop should connect to a Chinese cloud infrastructure whatsoever. And at any point, they could change the way that functionality works and take over my home network with this vacuum mop.
Are you serious? With a vacuum mop?
Yep.
How many devices do you think have these things in them?
Anything with a Wi-Fi connection, it's, not everything's going to be China beaconing back and forth. Anything with Wi-Fi capability is going to open up, an attack vector.
Washing machines, refrigerators, just why does a vacuum mop?
I don't know.
Wi-Fi capability.
I could adjust the volume. I could check when the last time I used it. Does it need to be cleaned? Does it, it tells you all that stuff, but it's using a Chinese server.
I started worrying about my electronics when I saw what Israel did with those radios and pagers. That woke me up quick. You don't even know what you're walking around with. Not only do you have to worry about your phone or some other device spying on you, but now you have to worry about some opposing government flipping a kill switch and blowing it up while it's sitting in your pocket.
What if we force kids to learn an outdated form of writing?
Being able to write, or more importantly, understand cursive handwriting, is one of the most important skills for a society to be proficient at. And you would know that if you ever read this book, or even saw the movie they made from it. And it's a pretty good movie. But if you've never read Fahrenheit 451, first of all, you should. Secondly, I'm going to tell you why this book proves that being able to understand cursive writing is essential. And it's based on the fact that the originals of every important document ever written in history were written in cursive, especially if you're here in the US. Let me explain. So in the book, we're living in a society that's in the near future. And the future that they're living in is very possible. It's not super different from the world we're living in today. The difference is what the government has done in this society has made everything available digitally. So you have access to everything ever written everywhere. Because all the information is easily available to you digitally, they've completely gotten rid of books. In fact, they've outlawed actual books because they found a way to build homes out of completely fireproof material. A firefighter's job in this near future is to find and burn books. Now, I know a lot of you might be saying that if everything's available digitally, what's the big deal about the books? Well, the big deal is because nobody has access to the actual original documents, and even if they had them, they can't read cursive anyway. The government has made little tweaks to our important documents. Little tweaks such as the First Amendment no longer guarantees free speech. And the explanation for what the First Amendment actually says is something that could be easily found in 2023. Under them, the First Amendment says that you are guaranteed the right to free speech as long as the government determines what you say to be true. Sounds awfully familiar, don't it? Second Amendment no longer guarantees the right to a firearm. No, it guarantees that the government has a right to a firearm to protect you. See where I'm going with this? Y'all have to understand that every important document we have that guarantees our rights or protects our rights, the originals are in cursive. I'm talking about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Magna Carta, the Declaration of Independence. I mean, take your pick. Every document that allows you to live the life the way you want to live it is in cursive. If at any point we are willing to get rid of those originals, or even if we don't get rid of them, but people no longer have the ability to understand what the original says, we will no longer have those rights. We will have whatever rights the government decides to print. So I'm going to say it again. Being able to write, or more importantly, understand cursive handwriting is quite possibly the most important skill for a society to be proficient at, if that society cares about its rights and freedoms. And if you want to disagree with me about this, first, go read this, or at the very least, watch this. But again, if you're not willing to read this, you're kind of proving my point.
I've thought this since the moment I found out they were no longer teaching cursive in school. They just don't want us to be able to read our founding documents. It's not lost on me how fortunate I am to have been born in a time before this stuff started happening. So I'm able to read cursive and I'm able to look stuff up and verify it for myself. There's just not much more I can add to this guy's video other than I completely agree with him.
So you want to know about Tartaria, Boy, do I have a rabbit hole for you. This rabbit hole comes with personal experience. You see, twice now I have visited a naval park that has ships and submarines from World War II. And you wouldn't believe what I found. On the wall, in the naval ship from World War II, there was a map. It was glued to the wall. You can tell in the video I'm going to show how it's ripping off a little bit. Take a look. Now, if you don't know, Tartaria was an ancient civilization. Think Atlanteans, that time. And many believe that they are responsible for most of the intricate architecture we see in our world. They also understood and utilized harnessing free energy. Now, riddle me this, Batman. Why do they try to get us to believe that Tartaria never existed? I bet you can guess why.
Just more evidence that the place they say never existed not only existed, but was mapped out and known about by the entire world.
Airplanes debunk the globe. Airplanes maintain rigidity in space using something called a 3-axis gimbaled gyroscope. Now remember, the gyroscope maintains inertia not dependent on the Earth's orientation, but its own position in space. So as the rotor in the center spins, it maintains its own inertial reference frame. Notice, before the rotor is spinning, you're spinning around and it's spinning with you. But as soon as you gear this up and get it working in its inertial reference frame, all of a sudden now you are spinning around it. On this 3-axis gimbal, it allows that to maintain rigidity in space, staying exactly where it was when it began spinning. The only way that it can move is when a force acts upon it. Now, in this 3-point gimbal, it's going to maintain that exact location, that exact inertial reference frame. As he's driving the car, you see how he's driving around it. It's going to stay in that same rigidity in space. Now, for those of you who believe he's really in space, they actually got the physics right here. See how it's just flipping all around the gyroscope, but as soon as he gears it up and gets that rotor moving, now it's maintaining its rigidity in space as he moves it around. Now, I believe it's augmented reality because they say this is how they keep the ISS in orientation. But when you watch time-lapse ISS footage, if that were the case, then it would look nothing like this. The Earth would be behind you, then in front of you. Remember, pilots use this technology and don't have to account for curvature. They always maintain rigidity in space, showing that artificial horizon staying the same, using that same gimbal. Now look at this. Look at the orientation when you switch your reference frame. That plane is nose directly up into space. To really drive home this rigidity in space thing, if the Earth were a ball that was spinning daily, then you could get this thing going mechanically, and as long as it was still going, in 24 hours, this would do a 360-degree rotation. Does that happen? No.
So if they have these gyroscope things on planes, does that not account for the curvature of the Earth and keep the plane in a constant nosedive, therefore removing the pilot's need to do so? Does this not support the globe model? I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something here. Does this not mean what I think it means? Can someone explain to me in the comments how this video proves the flat Earth? But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out www.barry-stepp.com if you'd like to order yourself a shirt or a hat or a hoodie. Also, don't forget to post your photos of your merch over in the Discord to get your photo in a video. But with all that out of the way, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.